Certainly if you're of my generation, which is, I am right at the... Sorry. Tandem fandom, happy Tuesday. It is Char here. Welcome to the Tandem Collective YouTube channel, where you can find the latest in book recommendations, releases, and news from Team Tandem. So today I am chatting to you all things spooky book to film adaptations. So there's a couple of tame ones, and then there's a couple of scary ones, which is surprising if you know anything about me, because I am a scaredy cat. So there's going to be 5 very quick fire recommendations for you. So let's get into it. So number 1, I mean, can we even talk about October? Can we even be in October without talking about Practical Magic? The answer is no, I actually cannot. Or I will watch Practical Magic at least once a month all year round, but particularly in October. This is at the more lighthearted end of the scale, but it is just, in my opinion, is the perfect movie. The casting is perfect, the soundtrack is absolutely to die for, and if I could only have one thing from any movie ever, it would be the house. But it has to come with the ants and the midnight margaritas and, quite frankly, all of Sandra Bullock's clothes. For those who don't know, this is adapted from the book of the same name by Alice Hoffman. It's actually not the first book in the series, I don't believe. I think the first one is called The Rules of Magic. And it follows 2 sisters whose parents die when they are very young. And so they go and live with their aunts and basically are brought up to be witches, but they're sort of outcast in the community. It's one of those films where, like, nothing happens, but everything happens as well. It's just about their bonds as sisters. It's really a film about sisterhood and family, and it just has this really cozy and nostalgic feel to the whole film. And yeah, I am just obsessed with it. So if you are looking for a spooky but light-hearted, more witchy recommendation for the time of year, Practical Magic is actually the one that I would 100% recommend to you. Okay, so next up, like I said, I am a self-proclaimed scaredy cat. Like, I am not ashamed to say it. I'm not afraid to be like, I am scared. I have watched it, and I only got through most of the scary parts by turning the sound off. So there's that. I am a self-proclaimed scary cat. So this one is a little rogue. But over lockdown, we did a movie night, and I didn't get to pick the movie, which is why we went with this one. But it was Gerald's Game, which is an adaptation of Stephen King's 1992 novel by the same name. And it follows a couple. I would say they're in their mid-40s, but I don't think their age is... well, the age is a little relevant because the guy has a heart attack. So they go away for the weekend, and then when they get to their, like, holiday home thing, they have sex, and before they have sex, he handcuffs his wife to the bed. They start having sex, and he has a heart attack on top of her and dies. Now, you know, they could have stopped there, and that would have been absolutely horrifying enough, in my opinion. That could have been the whole movie. So what happens is she's obviously handcuffed to the bed. The key is in the bathroom next door. She's got no way of getting that key. And it's just about how she slowly lets the voices in her head sort of take over. She's got no idea what's real and what's not real anymore. And as the days pass, she's obviously hungry. She's starting to get dehydrated. She's just not sure what's actually going on. It's really, really cleverly done. And whilst it's a little... okay, it's a lot creepy, I wouldn't say it's scary. I think it's definitely scaredy cat approved. In my opinion, it is scaredy cat approved, and like I said, just turn the sound off if it gets too much. But yeah, creepy, not scary. So number 3 is Silence of the Lambs. And I don't know, I think it's a little known fact that this is a book to film adaptation. But again, it's a book of the same name by Thomas Harris. It's again part of a series of books, of which I think this is the only one that's been adapted. But I do think this is such a well-deserving placeholder on this list. I love Jodie Foster in this. I think that she's absolutely incredible and really just holds her own and does so well against Hopkins's Hannibal. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, I don't know that there's anyone who hasn't seen Silence of the Lambs. So if you haven't seen it, here's the TLDR. So Jodie Foster is FBI trainee Clarice Starling, and she is trying to catch a serial killer who is at large. He's basically skinning people. And she goes into a maximum security prison to get help from Hannibal, who is a former psychiatrist, but also a psychopathic serial killer. And so it's just about their her using his knowledge, him sort of taunting her, and obviously in the background there's this other serial killer plotline going on. But yeah, it's really clever. Again, very, very tense, but would say scaredy cat approved. Unless you're scared of being kidnapped and skinned alive, then probably not for you. Number 4 is, I don't think we can talk about spooky or horror or anything. Certainly if you're of my generation, which is, I am right at the... Sorry. I wish you could feel how fast my heart is beating. It was just the cat. Okay. Number 4 is, I don't think we can talk about spooky or, horror adaptations without talking about R.L. Stine's Goosebumps. Now, if you are the same age as me, which is sort of early 30s, so sort of right at the tail end of being a millennial, you will have been terrified by the Goosebumps TV show at some point in your childhood. It has been adapted a few times, like I said, in the mid-90s they did the TV show, and then again it's been last year they did the Netflix TV show, and there's also been a couple of movies in between them, sort of circa 2015 with Jack Black. But yeah, the characters, this is very much, I think you can enjoy it as an adult. I certainly have enjoyed it as an adult, the more recent adaptations. But obviously the protagonists, the main characters, are teens and preteens who are put into sort of precarious situations involving the occult or the supernatural or the paranormal. But yeah, I think still very much enjoyable as an adult and very much appropriate for the time of year, and 100% scaredy cat approved. And fun fact, between 1992 and 1997, R.L. Stine published 62 books under the Goosebumps umbrella title. 62 books. The 5th and final book in my book to film adaptations spooky edition is Let the Right One In. Now, I love vampires. I'm not fussy. I love the Twilight vampires. I like Vampire Diaries. I like Anne Rice's Interview with a Vampire. But this one made the cut over all of the others because I really think the film is so very impressive. So if you've never read it or watched it, again, here's the TLDR. Let the Right One In is set in Stockholm in the 80s. It features Oscar, who is a 12-year-old boy who is being bullied at school. He doesn't really have any friends. And then he gets this new neighbour and basically falls in love with her and befriends her. But she's very peculiar. She's a little odd. They get very, very close. And she obviously is a vampire. So, yeah, I won't say any more, but I do think it's deserving of space on the list. It isn't just another vampire movie, and it's certainly not like a frivolous, silly vampire movie like Twilight. It is genuinely very beautiful. So, yeah, I think if you like vampire movies, you will like this one. It is a little creepy. Obviously, it is a child vampire. So, do with that information what you will, I guess. All right, I'm going to leave it there for today. If you enjoyed this, or you're looking for other recommendations, you can head over and find us on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. The links are in our description below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more bookish content from myself and the team. You can get all of our latest creator opportunities straight to your inbox by signing up to our newsletter, which again is in the video description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on Friday for my next video, which is gonna be me reading the first few chapters of my November TBR and picking the ones that I want. So you're going to come shopping with me on my own book stacks. So stay tuned on Friday for that. Bye.